Welcome to our exploration of a topical issue, the enduring tension in the Middle East compared to the rest of the world. In this first section, we delve into the historical reasons driving conflict in the area. Ever since the dawn of civilization, the Middle East has been a crossroads of people, cultures, religions, and empires. It is the birthplace of the three great monotheistic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, whose contrasting beliefs and historical rivalries often serve as a trigger for disputes. In the 20th century, colonial and post-colonial interference further stirred the pot, as foreign powers drew arbitrary borders and installed regimes to fulfill their agendas. As a result, the aftermath of colonialism has manifested itself into ongoing strife among different cultural, religious, and political factions within the same national boundaries. In the second segment, we turn our attention to geopolitical interests that ratchet up tensions in the Middle East. The discovery of vast oil reserves in the 20th century transformed what was largely a backwater of empires into a region central to global power dynamics. Both regional and external actors, enticed by the wealth and strategic leverage that comes with controlling these reserves, have jostled for influence in the area. This competition has often resulted in wars, coups, and foreign interventions. The US, Russia, China, and European powers have played significant roles, supporting different factions based on their interests, thereby escalating regional conflicts into international ones. Now, we switch gears to delve into the role of religion in escalating Middle Eastern tensions. As we noted earlier, this region is the cradle of three major world religions, but it's vital to spotlight how theological divides within these faiths further contribute to tension. The most prominent is the Sunni-Shia divide in Islam. Rooted in a 7th century dispute over the Prophet Muhammad's successor, it has long been a source of sectarian violence, particularly in Iraq and Yemen. Meanwhile, the Jewish-Muslim friction centers on the contended holy city of Jerusalem and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Unfortunately, these religious divisions have often been manipulated by political leaders to mobilize support and justify violence. Let's now ponder over demographic factors and internal politics that fuel Middle East tension, in our fourth segment. The Middle East is characterized by an exceptionally youthful population, many of whom are faced with high rates of unemployment and lack of opportunities. Notably, Iran and Saudi Arabia, two influential regional powers, have youth bulges and strong ideological commitments, a combination that often leads to radicalization and militancy. Furthermore, the sweep of autocracy across the region from Syria to Egypt suppresses political freedoms, instigating more destabilization and grievances against existing regimes. This repression leads to a cycle of dissent, crackdowns, and often violent backlash. Finally, in our last segment, we discuss the impact of conflicts and refugee crises on the Middle East. Each conflict, be it the Iraq War or the Syrian Civil War, has had disastrous humanitarian consequences and caused displacement on a massive scale. The crisis affects not only the countries involved in the conflict but also neighboring countries and the region as a whole. Sustained warfare and destabilization have also allowed for the rise and resilience of extremist groups like ISIS. These groups exploit power vacuums, recruit from displaced and disenfranchised populations, and further inflame regional and sectarian tensions. The fraught state of refugees and persistent warfare consequently forms a vicious cycle that contributes to the Middle East's heightened tensions.